Now in today's video, we get into 3 stories that are believed to be true, and will definitely send shivers down your spine. If you're looking for a thrill, keep watching, and maybe turn a light on. I work as a businessman in Morocco and was sent on a business trip to Nigeria on January 26, 2022. Although I wasn't thrilled about traveling again, I had no choice. I packed my bags and headed to the airport. Upon landing in Nigeria, I was escorted to a luxurious hotel room where they assured me of its safety. However, I was disinterested in their assurance. All I wanted was to finish the business deal and leave. The next day, I woke up and went to the company to attend the meeting and sign the contract. The day seemed to drag on, but I was relieved when it finally ended. Returning to my ground floor room, I swiped my card, entered, and locked the door behind me. After freshening up and packing my belongings for departure the next day, I went to bed at 11 p.m. At 3 a.m. on January 28th, I woke up and decided to use the restroom. When I finished, I went to the dispenser to get some water. As I was about to take a sip, I glanced at the window and noticed the curtains slightly pushed aside. To my surprise, I saw a girl, around 6 years old, in a gown standing near a tree, not far from my window. She just stood there, staring at me. I sighed and checked the time, which read 3:10 a.m. Concerned, I called out to her. "Hey kid, it's dangerous to be out there alone. Return to your room." I turned away, assuming she would go back, but something felt off. I glanced at the window again, and this time, it wasn't the girl, but a little boy staring back at me. I cursed in frustration and shouted, gripping the window pane. "It's too late for pranks. Kids, get back to your room." In anger, I turned to leave, but I remembered that I had left the window open. When I turned to close it, my eyes re-widened, and I gasped in horror. The hairs on my skin stood on end. This time, it wasn't a child, but a dog standing in the same spot, staring directly into my room. And at this point, fear overwhelmed me. I slammed the window shut while locking it and ran back to my bed. Trembling, I covered myself in the blanket, trying to calm my racing heart. Eventually, fear overtook me and I passed out. I woke up at 8 a.m. the next morning, dressed quickly, and prepared for my flight, which was scheduled for 10:30 a.m. As I walked toward the door, I noticed something that triggered my memory. It all turned out to be a dream. But one thing troubled me. I found the door unlocked and slightly open. My heart raced in fear, and at this point, I checked all my belongings and realized that nothing was missing. I distinctly remember locking the door before going to bed. At that point, I had no interest in staying any longer. I thanked the receptionist, left the hotel, and boarded my flight back to Morocco safely. But not a day goes by that I don't think about what happened in Nigeria. What exactly transpired at that supposedly luxurious hotel? My name is Juliana, and I'm currently 13 years old, with dark brown hair and dark brown eyes. I will admit that this isn't the scariest of stories, but it still confuses me to this day. This incident took place in mid-2017. For some context, my mom has a job that requires her to travel frequently. A few days before this happened, she informed me that she had a trip and would be gone for a few days. I was pretty sad, but I knew it was just a business trip and she would be back soon. A few days passed, and my sister's dad and I were having fun going out, watching movies, and enjoying snacks, which was our usual routine. Finally, the day arrived when my mom would be back. However, I had been having trouble sleeping for a few weeks, so I was lying in bed unable to sleep. That's when I heard the door open and footsteps. But here's where things get weird. The footsteps sounded like a man's, and then they abruptly stopped. I was very confused, but dismissed it as noise from our neighbors. We lived in a townhouse, so it made sense in my 9-year-old mind. Around 2 a.m., I heard footsteps again, but this time they were a woman's. I saw a woman at the top of the stairs wearing a pencil skirt that looked identical to my mom's favorite type of skirt. Naturally, I thought it was my mom returning. I wanted to go up and hug her, but I had a feeling she was exhausted, so I let her walk into the bedroom. However, about an hour later, I heard the door downstairs open. I went downstairs and turned on the light, only to find my mom standing there. She asked me why I was still awake, and I lied, saying I was waiting for her. I still think about this incident from time to time. Inside, I was panicking, Who or what was that lady, and why did she look like my mom? Did I miss her so much that I started hallucinating? I'm so grateful that I decided to stay in my bed and not go up to the lady. I still wonder what I would have seen if I had gone up to her. My name is Kushi, and I'm a 17-year-old living in Delhi, India. This incident took place a few months ago. On a crowded evening after returning from my coaching classes, I decided to book a cab instead of taking the bus due to me being so exhausted. The distance between my home and the classes was around 21 miles, which usually took about 1.5 to 2 hours to cover. While in the cab, suddenly, I started shaking and eventually stopped just a mile away from my destination. Since it was dark, the surroundings seemed unfamiliar, and the journey appeared longer than usual. Considering the late hour, I made the decision to walk home. As I began walking, I noticed a girl of similar age sitting behind some bushes nearby. Curiosity got the better of me, and I approached the girl to offer assistance. She lifted her head and in a soft voice, expressed gratitude for my concern. She explained that she had injured her leg while walking and requested my handkerchief to clean the wound. Wanting to help, I asked if she had informed her family about the situation. She assured me that she had already contacted them, and they would be arriving soon. However, the pain was unbearable, and she needed to cover the wound urgently. I rummaged through my bag, intending to provide her with a handkerchief. Just as I was about to hand it to her, an elderly man appeared, grabbing my arm and swiftly pulling me aside. He questioned me, saying he had been observing my interactions and asked who I had been talking to. Confused, I explained that I had been conversing with the girl to inquire about her well-being and offer assistance. The man's next words sent shivers down my spine. He revealed that the girl I was referring to was not there, suggesting she was the ghost of a girl who had tragically died in a road accident 26 years ago at that very location. He emphasized that it was fortunate that I had not given her any of my belongings, as it would have resulted in grave consequences beyond my imagination. He urged me to continue straight home without stopping. Shaken and overwhelmed, I ran as fast as I could until I reached the safety of my home. Upon my arrival, my mother opened the door and noticed the distressed state I was in. She questioned me about the girl accompanying me, assuming she was a friend. Unable to process her words, I entered the house and locked myself in my room. That night, sleep eluded me as I tried to calm my racing thoughts. Eventually, exhaustion took over, and I fell into a restless slumber. When morning arrived, I woke up with a realization. I was incredibly fortunate not to have given my handkerchief to the girl. If I had, she might have pursued me, just like the apparition that had accompanied me the previous night. I remain immensely grateful to the old man who intervened and saved me from a potential disastrous encounter. Now I want to know what you think about these 3 terrifying true stories down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a nice big thumbs up.